What the fuck is up, my britches? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany. Technical difficulties tonight. It's fine. We're here to talk about the new Unearthly Cosmetics Just a Taste palette. I want to show you the 4 looks that I've done so far because, guys, you already know by now, every single time Unearthly comes out with a palette, I'm fucking here for it. They are a little on the more spency side, but they are an indie brand. They're one of my favorites. Would highly recommend to check them out. Let me give you a run through just one more time because, are you kidding me? And I think I cut the last one off. It's fine. Look at how fucking gorgeous. I love green eyeshadows. I love purple eyeshadows. What I'm wearing today is not my typical norm, but that's where I wanted to give you guys some inspo because I feel like when some people might look at this palette, it could come off as a little bit overwhelming because I know I'm a neutral girly. You all know this by now. So when I see palettes that are really colorful looking like this, it almost makes me shit my pants a little bit. But that's what I'm here for, is to show you how to make possibly a palette that looks a little overwhelming, a little bit more approachable, because I am a creature of habit with my eyeshadows as well. I have hooded eyes, and I know what I like. I try to mix it up a little bit, but you're going to find with the looks that I do, I use a lot of the same techniques because I feel that that's what is flattering for my eye shape. If you hear a ball bouncing in the background, it's my stepdaughter. She's a future volleyball star, so don't mind that. Hi, everyone. Guys, sorry I'm a little bit late. If you're watching this in the playback, I am live. I would recommend watching it at like 1.5 or a little bit of a faster speed because we like to chit chat in the live chat, but we just are here to see all the new looks. So let me give you just a little bit of a breakdown. I did link Amanda's video down below if you guys want to see swatches. I wanted to keep this mostly about the looks themselves versus showing you swatches, and then as we get into the end, if you want to see swatches, I'll do them for you. But I already know that Amanda has it covered, and if you guys don't know, Hayden Haunts is their YouTube channel, or it's her YouTube channel, and she is always doing like sneak peeks and stuff like that over there, so I would recommend, if you guys are into this brand, that is where you want to be following Amanda. So it's Hayden Haunts on YouTube. It is linked down below. Make sure you guys go check her out. I'm going to pull her up in the live chat because I see you, girl. Hey, girl, hey. I'm over here like, do I want to do this palette? Do I want to do a Sephora haul update? Then I'm like, fuck it. I've been wearing this for days, and I keep posting little teasers because I got this palette a little bit early, and I'm like, let's see if anybody could guess. I have a lot of Unearthly products actually on my face today. I've got the eyeshadow, the cream blush, the liquid lip, all Unearthly Cosmetics, okay? Not sponsored. I just fucking love a lot of Unearthly's products. So, Amanda, you already know. We love it. Okay, so let's jump over to first the website. This palette does retail for $74. I do have an affiliate link with Unearthly Cosmetics. It is down below. I also have an affiliate code BRITCHES, for 10% off, I think. It's in the description box, guys. We try to remember it up here, but it doesn't always work out that way. But I have everything linked if you guys want to check anything out. Let's move on to the eyeshadow looks, shall we? So the first one, honestly, is probably the most common that I would do with a palette like this because I love my purples, I love my greens. Purple is the one shadow color that I always get compliments on. So I really just stuck with the purple color family with this one. So I used Forbidden Embrace, Eternal Slumber, Haunted Heart, and I'm pretty sure those are the only... No, I also used Nocturnal Kiss for this look. So I usually go with like 4 or 5 eyeshadows. I smoke out the crease line, I blow out the outer edge, I put a shimmer all over my lid, and I'm good to fucking go. That's just my go-to. I am using mostly Refer brushes. If you guys want to know any specific brushes, just leave them in the comments. Thank you, Amanda. So this one is honestly what I would typically go for. Like, if I were to just look at this palette, I'm like, all right, I know what I like, I know what I look for, and I know what's going to look good on me. This is one of my favorites, and just the way that Unearthly Metallic sparkle is so fucking good. So this is such a beautiful look. Can I toot my own horn real quick? Because I thought it was beautiful. Next, I went with the green color family. So for this look, I went in with Wicked Woods in the crease, and then on the outer corner, you're seeing me use Cloaked Desire. And then I even pulled in a little bit of Forbidden Embrace. I feel like this one's a really nice transition for a lot of the more grungier tones in this palette. And it also helps tie in like the greens with the purples as well, because it's almost like a purpley grayish. And then for the lid, I used Moonlit Veil and then also Mossy Grave. For the under eye, you're always going to see me use basically the same mattes that I use on the upper lid are exactly what I use on the lower lid. And then for the inner corner, I used Moonlit Veil as well. I always go with a brighter inner corner just because it looks more flattering. It helps wake up my eyes a little bit more. Whenever I use deeper tones, I just don't ever like the way that it looks. And then this was the one I'm like, guys, just remember that you don't ever have to recreate my looks, okay? This was the look that is like, trust the fucking process, because like I said, I always do like a certain look. I know what I like and I know what works for me. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try to give them something different. So I see Bryn on TikTok always do this like blended out wing. It is truly trust the process. So I first laid down a Chantecaille eyeliner and then I just used again the purple family, but I focused a lot with the Eternal Slumber on this one. And then all over the lid, I did the Fanged Charmed. This is such an interesting shade because it's a duochrome or like a multi-chrome. Oh my god, I fucking loved it. And it's like, even though it's a trust the process, it still turned out beautiful. And for how complex I feel that it looked, it was relatively simple to do. And then we have the look that I'm wearing today. And all I was thinking, I actually did this on TikTok Live, which is why I'm like off to the side and not even paying attention. And you're also seeing me talk. So I was doing this on live and everybody was like, let's do like a Thanksgiving look. So I feel like these colors, so I first went in with Bite Me. I used a lot of the Vampire's Lair as well. And then I put Crimson Thirst on the lid with Immortal Flame right on the inner part of my eye. I was shocked at how much I like this because it's so far out of my comfort zone. I never wear orangey tones. It's just something where I'm like, you know, it's still wearable, but it's still super flattering. And you guys said I looked hot today, so there's that. So those were the 4 looks that I came up with this palette. Again, I like to keep with the same color families usually. I am a basic bitch. I usually love neutral palettes, but I just love the undertones that always come with the Unearthly palettes because I feel like the color stories are just so different. And one of my favorite palettes from last year was the Sorceress Smoke, which is one of my favorites in my entire collection. This is an excellent companion palette for the Sorceress Smoke. So I feel like even like Gargoyle a little bit because it's like you got a little bit more. I almost want to like take all the palettes and make one big palette, but then I know I'll instantly regret it because I love having everything just as it's supposed to be, you know? But I just think that every time that a new palette comes out, it just goes with how do I want to say it? It just goes with what has already come. I probably make no sense. It's fine. Thank you guys. What was your favorite look out of the 4? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Because if I had to pick one, I would probably go with 1 just because that's what I typically like. But I thought number 3 was really fun. And I'm honestly not mad at this. I feel like either a Thanksgiving turkey or I feel like I should be at a sunset. That's what this is giving me, is more of like sunset. And then with the blushy cheek, so pretty. What did I use? You know what? Let me go back to one of these looks. I think it was look number 3. I'm going to hit back to this one really quick because in this look as well, I actually used, let me look at the shade name. I used the shade Haunted Heart, which is one of my favorite shades in this palette. I actually used this as a highlight as well. I can't remember if I included the clip in this or not, but I was like, you know what? Let me try it. It does give a glitter vibe, but I don't care because it still doesn't accentuate too much of the texture. I know Unearthly has, you know, highlighters as well, but when I have shades in a palette like this where I'm like, you know what? I could use it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's nice not having to pull out a whole other product just for one little stripe on my face, you know? So I did use it inner corner and brow bone, and then I know that I put it on my face too. But let me see if you could see it, even if I just, yeah, you could see it right there. Look at the highlight though. We love that. So I'm looking at what you guys are saying in the live chat. 1 and 4. That's where I'm like, I looked at number 2 and I feel like I made a look very similar to that one with the Sorceress Smoke palette. I think I I almost like, I think the tone's better for the greens in Sorcerer's Smoke, but that's why I say this is a great companion palette, because this is going to give me even more like grunginess and possibly even a little bit more depth with this shade right here. I'd have to pair them side by side, honestly. But just remembering that palette and knowing and loving that palette, I like having these additional shades in addition to that palette. So, is this my favorite Unearthly palette? It's not a fave. Well, it's not my fave, but it is in the top. Like, the quality is comparable. It's more of just, like, what color story is suitable to what tickles your fancy. Sorcerer's Smoke, unless another neutral palette comes out, will probably always be my favorite because it, like, checks every single box. But I will want every single Unearthly palette because that's just how I roll. I love the blend that you give, or I love the blend that you get with minimal effort. Think of how I felt with Makeup Geek, right? You guys always used to hear me talk about Makeup Geek because it was like you would get such an effortless blend. Like, all of those looks that I just showed you, they took me like maybe 10 minutes. And it's just, if anything, it's just me thinking about, okay, what color do I want to put here? What color do I want to put here? The actual like blending and everything, it's just like you dab it on, you blend it a little bit, and it's like poof, it's done for you. The formula from this brand is fantastic. I love that. What's Amanda saying? I just saw Alexandria. You look like a fiery goddess. It's a great bridge to all the palettes, especially Devour and Sorcerer's Smoke and High Temp. I don't have Devour. Do I have High Temp? I think I do. I'll have to check. But I agree. I feel like every time that a new palette comes out, they're never repetitive. There's always an addition to the previous palettes. I was pleasantly surprised with the Gargoyle. That ended up being one of my favorites as well. And I wasn't really expecting that one because, again, it's very easy to be intimidated by palettes for me just because, again, I know what I like, and my skill level is not, like, over the top. It's just a lot of the same thing, just choosing different colors. Oh, my God. Makeup Geek's biggest fans. And, guys, did you see Marche Beauty is coming in 2025? Okay, so I have to tell you guys this because I posted this on my Insta story. I posted that I was like, oh, my God, I can't believe about the DM that I just got. It was fucking Marlena telling me that there was new products coming. I was so excited. So I did order the Marche fragrance discovery set. So that will be coming. I also want to do a Sephora haul update. That was what I was going to do today. Do you guys want to see any swatches? I'm telling you, I was so excited. But I think if you're somebody like me that loved Makeup Geek and the quality and just everything about Makeup Geek, you would absolutely love Unearthly Cosmetics. It makes me so happy. Let me give you guys some swatches, shall we? So let me start with, let me roll up my sleeves. I think I'm going to do mattes on one side and metallics on the other because this is an evenly distributed palette. So just as many mattes, you have just as many metallics, which I love. The only thing that I would say that would have made this even better is if there was a lighter shade, but I get it why there's not a lighter shade in every palette, just like there's not a black in every single palette. I would have loved a lighter shade for like the brow bone highlight, the inner corner highlight, but I could still use Mortal Dusk for a lot of that. But as like a whole, that's always something that I look for when I'm purchasing palettes. This palette was gifted to me, by the way. I think I forgot to say that. Look at these. Like, these just scream Thanksgiving time. I got 2 products from the launch. What'd you get? Tell me what you got. I was going to get the Essence Vanille. Is that how you pronounce it? Look at how pigmented these are. Even with the swatches, you see how they have almost like that blurring property? I'm like, is it in focus? Yeah. They're so fucking good. And hella pigmented. So those were Nocturnal Kiss. What was it? Veins of Velvet. Bite Me. I gotta like wipe my fingers off in between my swatches, but it's fine. This is how I do all of my swatches. I'm such a savage. Here's the next row. Jocelyn's killing me with that volleyball. So that is Wicked Woods, Bear Bite, and Vampire's Lair. If I had to pick a favorite matte in this palette, I think I would go with that one, the Vampire's Lair. Like, when I blended the crease for this look, I'm like, ooh, that's fucking good. Because it's orangey, but it's almost like a little bit brown. So good. And then for the last row, we have Cloaked Desire, Forbidden Embrace, and Eternal Slumber. So good. All right, let me put these on this side so you can actually see them. And they're not over my tattoo. Look at how, like, oh, it makes me want to, like, slap somebody. These are so good. The tones are always so fucking good. So these are all the mattes, and then I'm going to do, I really should unbutton this. And then I'll do all of the metallics over on this side. We love a live swatch party, don't we? So some of these in this palette, like this shade right here, this is the Dark Seduction. It's got the black base to it, but it's got like a copperish flip to it. I feel like in this one, on my one eye, is it on my left eye? I have a sty in like the center, or is it? I'm like, which eye is it? It's this eye. So when I turn my head, you might see it's got like a little bit of a bump. It's because of my sty. Hey girl, I know it's been so long. So that is the first row. We have Dark Seduction, Crimson Thirst, and then Immortal Flame. These two are the ones that are on my eyeballs right now if you guys missed the little tutorial from earlier. Next we have Mossy Grave, Vesper Glow, and Mortal Dusk. If I had to pick a favorite in the palette, which one do you think it is? Because Mortal Dusk, fuck me up. This shade is so good. And I noticed with Mortal Dusk, is it Mortal? Yeah, Mortal Dusk, it's a little bit more sparkly than the rest of them. And it has that like holographic flip. So this is the one that in this palette, when I'm looking for that brow bone or inner corner highlight, this is the one that I pull mostly because it is the lightest. But the green shades are so fucking good too. So those are the two shades that I use, the two green in the look number 2. And then for the last row, or no, Vesper Glow, did I use that one? I don't think I've used Vesper Glow yet. I fucked up. I thought I did. I thought I used all the shades in the palette, but I didn't. I forgot about one. Okay, next row we have Moonlit Veil, Haunted Heart, and Fanged Charm. Fanged Charm is another one that has that black base, but it's got almost like a purplish pink flip. These shades are all three so good. Yes, yes, yes. So I feel like when you look at them like this, you could still, hang on, I gotta make sure I'm in focus so you could see like the glitter specks and stuff. So I think with like the orange and the yellow, you're not seeing as much glitter and sparkliness. I would say it's more of like a shimmery satin. Whereas some of these other ones, they have more of a glitter like sparkliness to them. When you're under like a low light or a fluorescent light, they all do sparkle, but you do just get a little bit more from shades like this one here. So this is the palette swatched as a whole. It's fucking beautiful. I love it. Is it my perfect palette? No. Maybe one day I'll get my perfect palette, but as of now, my perfect palette from UNEARTHLY is 100% Sorcerer's Smoke. But I do love this one. I love that it's a nice companion palette for that palette. I know not everybody looks for that. That's why I want to mention that as far as like what I like versus what I look for. But if you're somebody that is like me that collects palettes, excellent addition. The quality's there. It's a consistent palette. It's consistent with their previous formulas. I just love UNEARTHLY Cosmetics. I can't talk enough about them. I try to put everybody onto them. I've tried posting TikToks, letting everybody know like how good their products are. I know they're a little on the spency side, but it's an indie brand. As you saw, like, fucking Amanda's in the live chat. Like, she's so supportive, and I want to support her as much as I can as well. So if you're in the market for literally anything, or if you're holiday shopping, give the gift of UNEARTHLY Cosmetics. Sorceress, and this one are my faves. I was just going to ask you, what was your, like, if you had to pick one, what is your fave? I still know, though, like, you're going to come out with another palette that I love even more. I know it's coming because I'm so biased. Every time you come out with a palette, I'm just like, I'm obsessed. I fucking love it. And I love that there is really no overlap, and especially in such a space where there is a ton of overlap. Like, let me give you guys an example, okay? We have another palette that just recently came out, and I'll actually be featuring this in my like Sephora haul update. So I recently picked up this palette, right? So this is a palette. You're getting more shades. Actually, no. Are you getting... Hold on. Let me break these palettes apart real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're getting the same amount of shades. Same amount of shades. Significantly less product, or at least it appears that way. Hold on. Let me see how much... Does it say? Okay, this is not information that I'll be able to find quickly. But just looking at the pan size, right? Comparable pricing. I think the Huda might be a little bit less expensive. I want to say this might be like $68 versus the $74, but we're not going to pay $74. We're going to use code BRITCHES and get 10% off. So, comparable, I'm going to say price range, right? With this palette here, you get the variety of textures, but as you can see, and this is one thing that I'll mention in my my follow-up, is I feel like there's a lot of overlap within this one palette. Like when you blend out these shades, you're going to get a lot of similar looks, or they might not be necessary enough to have two of a very similar color in the palette. Even though they're technically different, like when you blend them out, they're going to appear very similar. When you're comparing it, not the sandpaper glitter, girl. I fucking put this on my eyes today, and I took it off. And I was like, you know what? I'm using Just the Taste. I asked my TikTok live that happened 100%. Because I would much rather invest my money right here. Because it's consistent, and you get such a variety of colors. And such a great color story. It's approachable, even though it looks a little bit more intimidating. I mean, granted, the color stories are... similar, but if I look at this palette, I'm gonna get something maybe not as icy, but it's like I could still get like a purpley fucking smoky eye from those bottom 4 shades, right? I would love to see like, well, I feel like Gargoyle actually could be like something that would be kind of something on here. But yeah, I just think, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit biased, but I am happier. Like, if I had bought, this was gifted to me, like I said, I would have been happier spending my money with the Unearthly palette just because I feel like I'm getting more out of it. And I feel like, quality-wise, more consistent across the board. I don't know. How does ColourPop have better glitters? I never tried. Here's the thing with ColourPop. This is just my opinion. ColourPop can do great, but they also are very inconsistent. And that's another reason why I'm always telling you guys about this brand, because they're consistent. I would be confident spending my money over and over and over again with Unearthly. Whereas with ColourPop, or not even just ColourPop, but brands like ColourPop that are like the fast fashion, even e.l.f., I feel like they're producing products so quickly that it's hit or miss. Like sometimes I'll get metallics from them that I fucking love. But then I'll also get another that is like the glitter shadow that's in this palette, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like consistency, that's a very big thing for me when I'm especially spending my money on makeup brands. And that's why I'm always confident to say, okay, yes, I'm an affiliate of this company. I work with them. I love them. I recommend them. It's a consistent thing for me, and that to me is very important. How after all these did they approve that? Okay, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's this shade right here, and it's called Bling. And this is what happened in my TikTok live earlier. Was I had somebody in there, they were like, all right, put it on your lid, you're gonna like it. Because they know what I like. They know I love like the Urban Decay Moon Dust. They know I love that shit, right? So I'm like, all right, let me just entertain it. I put this on my lid, and it felt horrible. Like, I'm a texture person, and it's like, this is essentially a pressed glitter, but it feels almost like shards of glass, like mini shards of glass. It's very rough. I don't want that anywhere near my eye. My eyes are so sensitive already, and I'm like, I see where they were going with this, but it's a nah for me, dog. And I feel like my distaste for that shade has turned me off so badly with that palette. So I don't want to make this like all about shit talking the Huda palette, because I'm sure I'll do plenty more when I do my Sephora haul follow-up, but you don't got to worry about that. I mean, granted, you're not getting the same effect in a palette like this. Like, The Unearthly metallics are very smooth. Like, they're very almost like silky, high shine, reflective. You're not going to get like... Let me pull this out really quick, because I know these are very controversial right now, which are the Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos. So some people were thinking that when I was wearing this palette, I was wearing this, which I was very confused by because the colors aren't even remotely the same. So, like, when you swatch this right here, this gives you that twinkle sort of effect. I don't feel that this palette gives you that in just, like, normal lighting. I feel like you have to be under, like the fluorescent lighting or low lighting to really see the sparkle that they have. Whereas with something like this or like the Urban Decay Moon Dust, obviously you see it in low lighting and stuff like that, but I feel like it's very apparent, like the glitter almost like jumps off the eyeshadow. So these, I feel like, is one of the reasons why I like them so much, is because they're very flattering. I just spit everywhere. I feel like when people like me that have more like textured skin, mature eyes, you're conscious of the things that you're putting on your eyes because you don't want it to draw any attention to the just textures that are up there, or if you have like loose skin or anything like that. You want them to look nice and smooth, and that's another thing that I always notice with these is like, look how smooth my lids look. And I have texture. I have all these things that I'm always talking about, and she looks smooth as fuck. And we're in HD, so I don't know. You'll just notice it. Like, the more eyeshadows that I put on my eyelids, like even ones like this, I'll go back to the Huda palette, like, these are beautiful eyeshadows, but you really have to smooth them out. And you're going to get more fallout because they do apply a little bit more chunky. Like, I do get a little bit of fallout. I know I saw somebody ask about fallout with this palette earlier. I get fallout sometimes, but not enough where I feel like I can't do my eyes first, or my eyes after I do my face, which I think I want to say it was look number 1. My face was already done. I am one of those people that typically do my eyes before I do my face, and fallout is the main reason for that, but I don't really care if I get like a little bit of sparkle on my face because I feel like it almost like goes with the look, you know? So I'll let you guys watch this and you can see if you notice any sort of fallout, but even with like the mattes aren't super powdery. You're not getting like a ton of pickup. I feel like, honestly, these are just like my perfect formula. They're literally like how I felt about Makeup Geek shadows. Like, everything about them I just love. I love the performance. I love the consistency. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but I want you guys to really understand. But you can see, like, I'm blending right over glitter, and it's not really anywhere underneath on my face. Or at least I don't see any. I'm just letting this play out so you guys could see if there is any glitter. The only thing I will say, when you're working with purples like this, be cautious of dragging them down like I typically do, because you don't want to look like you got punched in the face. That look is so good. I feel like I need to pat myself on the back, maybe give myself a nice little round of applause. Anyways, I hope you guys thought this was helpful. You already know, I love Unearthly. I'm always going to have good things to say about Unearthly. I feel like they're such a great brand. I would highly recommend investing in them. They have always just blown me away, and clearly, you guys see me chatting with Amanda in the live chat. You know I love her, so I hope this was helpful if you were debating picking it up or if you wanted to put it on your wish list. I don't know if there's any sales coming up, but they just did like 40% off site-wide, so always check on the Unearthly Cosmetics Instagram. Always check my Insta story. Like, anytime I see that they're doing a sale, I always post about it because who doesn't want to save money? But in the event that you're wanting to pick it up, I do have everything linked down below, and I would highly recommend checking it out once again. I hope this was helpful. And stay tuned for my Sephora haul follow-up. I'll probably have an empties video coming up. Anything you guys want to see, let me know in the comments, and I want to know which look was your favorite. I'll see you on my next one. Bye!